McMahon and Mark Spears are both in the house. Hall of Famer Mark Spears. Both flew in here from Vegas this morning from L.A. We'll talk wall-to-wall hoops. And, of course, three-time NBA champion Udonis Haslem. UD is in the house. Can't get enough action out there in Vegas because he's still out there in the 111-degree heat. And I'm George Sedano in for Malika Andrews. So let's get right to it. LeBron James was in attendance for the Lakers Summer League game against the Pelicans to watch Bronny and company get their first win in Las Vegas. This, of course, in the midst of all the chatter surrounding where LeBron will play this season and perhaps beyond after his agent Rich Paul made an interestingly worded statement to our Shams Charania in late June. Quote, LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance at winning it all. We're very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie and Rob, and consider the Lakers a critical part of his career. Plenty have read into the past tense verbiage used by the Clutch Sports CEO, and on a recent appearance on SiriusXM Radio, he discussed the situation further.
It's not for us to rebuttal or to try to give clarity on what's said, what's not said. That's not the focus. The focus is, hey man, enjoy your summer. There's never been an expectation on anyone like it's been on him. But my thing is just continue to find your joy. You know, you can't go out here and try to prove everyone wrong or, you know, align with or wanting to make sure that everyone is right. The critique is going to be the critique. And this is for all players, by the way. You know, I think everyone's journey is a lot different. The success of some and the failures or the so-called failures of others depends on what lens you're looking out of.
All right, Udonis, I know finding your joy were words that may still sting a little bit for Miami and whatnot following the whole Jimmy Butler drama this past season. But listen, this is LeBron James we're talking about. So what do you think he should be prioritizing, UD?
George, that was a low blow. I just want to let you know, first and foremost, the last time I heard a player talk about finding their joy, it did not end well for myself and my organization. But what I will say about LeBron James is two things can be true. LeBron can be looking for an opportunity to put himself in a winning situation, and the Lakers can be looking for an opportunity to put themselves in a winning situation the next 4 or 5 years. I think they both have the same goals, but just not the same timeline. And for LeBron James, we don't know how much time he has, and rightfully so. You should want to put yourself in a position where you can win a championship and land a plane. That is not in L.A. I don't give a damn who they bring to L.A. That is not a championship roster right now with the L.A. Lakers. If LeBron James wants to put himself in a championship situation, then there has to be another opportunity out there that he needs to look for. I do know a place where he is welcome, and he will always be welcome, just to put that out there. You know what I'm saying?
The keys under the mat?
But, George, you asked, what should LeBron be prioritizing? He's already told us what he's prioritizing. And it's not, he didn't tell us with a statement. He told us with the decision to opt into the last year of his contract. He's prioritizing the finances. He's prioritizing the $52.6 million. Who could blame him for that?
Nobody going to be mad at you.
But my point is this. You prioritize finances over flexibility. If he wanted the option of choosing whatever team, of putting himself in the best position to compete for a championship this year, he could have taken that. It would have cost him a lot of money. But at this point, hey, enjoy your summer, and we'll see you for Lakers training camp because you opted in to be on the Los Angeles Lakers roster.
I'm going to go glass half full. UD's going to yell at me for it.
Uh-oh. Get ready, UD.
Look, they were 20-12 after the Luka trade. Like, without a training camp, you got a lob threat in Ayton, and Ayton knows the lights are on him. I know George is looking at me talking about Ayton. Ayton, I believe in my boy from the Bahamas. I think he's going to have the best season of his career.
He better.
And then here's the thing. I think patience is best for LeBron now. But if by the trade deadline, Rob Pelinka doesn't put a championship, I think he needs more time. We've seen trades get made at the beginning of training camp. But if it doesn't look right at the trade deadline, I think it's a little easier to trade him, even with that money at the halfway point. Be patient, wait, and see what happens.
Go ahead, UD.
I mean, this is a guy who's seen everything but the win. You're not going to run the banana in the tailpipe on LeBron James. When he walks in that locker room, he knows that that is a championship roster. He knows if he has a chance to realistically win the championship. When you look at what Houston has done, when you look at Minnesota getting another year better, when you look at what they've done at Oklahoma City, bringing their core back and extending those guys, they do not have a chance in hell on winning a championship with the Los Angeles Lakers this particular season. So if LeBron James wants that opportunity, he has to put himself in that situation moving forward, and that is not going to be with the Los Angeles Lakers. That's just my opinion, hands down.
Yeah, listen, I would agree with you, UD. I'm here in LA. I'm here every day. I think at best you can make the case they're like the 5th or 6th best team in the Western Conference on paper at the moment. But, yeah, I don't know if I see a championship roster, especially once you get past the first couple of players in their rotation. But, listen, our reporter Dave McMiniman covers the Lakers all the time as well here for our company here at ESPN. He had some boots on the ground reporting in Vegas after talking to both the Lakers and LeBron's camp. Let's take a listen.
The question on everybody's mind is, where will LeBron be playing next season? Some have posited that the true cause of this situation was the Lakers not offering LeBron a contract beyond next season, but Rich Paul told me that they never asked for one. Paul also made it clear to me that LeBron has not asked for a trade, and Paul hasn't even discussed the possibility of wanting a trade in the future with the Lakers. Paul did tell me that 4 teams contacted him with interest in trading for LeBron, though. Now, I asked LeBron just before tip-off if he'd like to join the broadcast to discuss everything, and he told me, quote, "I ain't got nothing to talk about."
Okay, listen, stars turn down interviews all the time, but I mean, there's kind of something to talk about, at least a little bit here. All right, look, let's get in our front office insider, Bobby Marks, who joins us now from Vegas as well. All right, 4 teams have allegedly reached out in interest about trading for LeBron James. Bobby, who could realistically get a deal done, though?
Well, that's the biggest question, George, is like, what does LeBron James want? And here's a player, one of 2, that has a no trade clause in his contract. His contract's at $53 million. Certainly when you look at teams like Golden State, that would, of course, probably make the most sense when you're trying to swap Jimmy Butler out for LeBron James. That trade actually works when you look at it from a perspective. The question would be, of course, would the Lakers want an extra year of Jimmy Butler? Remember, this is a team that's prioritizing cap space post LeBron James. I think the second team, of course, is the New York Knicks. Of course, when you look at a player like Karl Anthony Towns, that trade matches. They have players like OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. It does become a little bit complicated because of the finances. And of course, the Los Angeles Clippers right across the way. But as we've said, it would cost you something to trade player like Kawhi Leonard, perhaps. So that's the biggest question there. I think unrealistic teams are potentially Cleveland. Cleveland will certainly be mentioned a lot if LeBron James ever became available because of their finances in the second apron. It is unrealistic that the Cleveland Cavaliers could potentially trade for LeBron James. I do think, realistically, if he became a free agent, now that opens up the door for a lot of teams to go out and sign him there, because I keep on going back to that statement. He wants to compete for a championship. And in any trade, as you guys know, it's going to take 2 or 3 players from that team to potentially trade away that he would be walking into.
All right, so let's bring back the full panel here. UD, where do you think is the best place for LeBron at this stage of his career?
Come on now, George. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. You know I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
Yes, I know.
You know I'm all heart.
Yeah.
You know where my heart lies.
Yeah.
And you know the success that I've had with this gentleman and what he's been able to do. So I would love for that to be a situation that really manifests itself and occurs. But at the end of the day, man, like I said before, LeBron James has earned the right to go and put himself in a situation, win the championship as soon as possible. And the Miami Heat are a situation where I love that organization, but we're trying to figure things out right now. So is that a situation for him? He has to look at that and figure that out for himself. But, you know, we have great pieces. We have Tyler Hero. We have Bam Adebayo. We just made some moves. So we'll see what happens, man. But at the end of the day, man, I love Bron. I'm going to be a fan of his wherever he goes. And I got a chance to land my own plane. I know how special that was for me to put myself in that situation and have that experience. And he deserves that experience as well.
I am all for the return of the king, to borrow from the Wendy and Mac 10 book title, but not to Miami, to where it all began, to where he went back and delivered the only title in the last however many thousand years of Cleveland pro sports history, but not this year. Play it out with the Lakers this year. You'll have all the options on the table next summer. Go back to Cleveland next summer. They're not giving up pieces to get you in that case. They've got a loaded roster.
Well, they can't really do it, to be honest, as Bobby mentioned.
Yeah, and so go back next summer, go home next summer, and help the Cavaliers get over that big old hump again, and they would have a real deal championship chance adding LeBron to that roster.
Cleveland, this is for you. What do you think, Mark?
New York, New York.
What?
You got to go to the Big Apple, man. If you're going to go somewhere, go big. That's the #1 market. Jay-Z going to be there to watch you. You get your former coach, Mike Brown. You get to play with him. Join Worldwide West. The Knicks, as Bobby Mark said, they have people that actually the Lakers might be excited to get back for him. Some talented younger players. There's like 4 players. Call New York now. Get it done. Get him in the Garden. Get him back with Mike Brown. And just box office with him internationally.
Listen,
come on, man. That makes the most sense.
I'm not trying to disagree with a Hall of Famer, but what I'll say is this. If he were to go anywhere else, I don't want him in a 4th uniform. That's just me personally. So, to me, it's either go back to Cleveland, go back to Miami if he were to leave the Lakers, which I actually don't believe will happen, if we're being honest. So, all right, we'll put a pin in that. Coming up on NBA Today, what are the biggest takeaways from Saturday's Mavs-Spurs showdown? And could the future be arriving a lot sooner than we expect? We'll explain. Plus, safe to say the Dubs have gotten off to a slow summer. Big Money Bobby Marks will be back breaking down their options and handing out some homework assignments. That's all next. And we have the latest on Victor Wembanyama's blood clot that ended. There you see the 2 young men. Let's flash back, though, to Cooper Flagg's first game against the Lakers.
Now, that would have been the highlight of the weekend.
It would have. But he had a rough shooting night, but did all the other things, I thought. He had his shots there, but didn't fall. Right.
Yeah, he missed from all areas.
But he hit a ton here against the Spurs. You see him there from 3. And now putting it on the floor, finishing with the left.
Okay, getting down.
On tough defense, too.
But Dylan Harper, check this out on D.
Got it from his daddy, boy. His daddy had them hops, too.
Yep.
That's head. Almost hitting the head on the rim.
Now, the afro's pretty high, though, so maybe there.
Float game, second quarter.
He's nice.
Yeah, he had a little chip.
I see you back there, Tim.
In the third, back to Flagg with the miss. Harper in transition.
Got that from Manu already.
The step through. Final seconds of the third. Here's Cooper.
Hey.
Alley-oop. Some authority on that one. Fourth quarter, Flagg.
Can't press him out.
On the drive and the finish. Flagg finishes with 31 points. And here's one more for Cooper getting to the right spot.
Got one to go down there.
So Flagg after the game. Again, 31 points. Tied with John Wall. Most points by a #1 pick in Summer League history. 15 years apart. Here's Cooper after the game.
Yeah, I think I've been solid. I think I'm exhausted. You know, I'm not used to bringing the ball up like that. And, you know, every time I'm getting the ball full court, I have somebody on my hip, you know, playing 94 feet. So definitely not used to that. But I think I did a solid job of, you know, bringing up against pressure and trying to set up our different actions for sure.
So Cooper Flagg officially shut down for the rest of Summer League. So UD, how would you evaluate Cooper's first 2 games?
It was exactly what I thought it would be. I think the first game you saw his offense struggle a little bit, but you saw his playmaking, his decision-making was on point. I'm a defensive guy, so I love the fact that he was weak side defense. He was taking his 2-9, which for you people at home mean he was taking his time in the paint when he was on the weak side defense. He shot the gap a couple times, got a couple steals. When he had isolations on guys that were smaller on the weak side, he took advantage of that offensively. And I just love the play that he made when he got downhill and he made the game-winning 3. The second game, you saw him start to settle in offensively. You started to get to his spots. He was aggressive from all three levels. He was hitting pull-up threes when guys went under. He got to his pull-up jumper. He got in the paint. He was aggressive getting in the paint. On the other things, the defense and those different things, he didn't quite feel the stat sheet, but that's what's expected with a young guy when he's trying to put it together. The first game, the offense is not going to be there and every other thing's there. Then the second game, the offense is there and the other things aren't there. He is going to put that together. I am very encouraged by what I've seen from Cooper Flagg on both ends of the basketball court.
Well, I mean, I was encouraged just because he got better. I mean, and I think that's part of what Summer League is. It's that you're supposed to get better from game 1 to 2 and certainly experimenting. And I think what I took away from game 2 is the ability to go left. I think that was a little bit of a concern, certainly when you talk to some scouts after game 1, is something he had to work on. And it felt like he made it a priority in game 2, is that going to his left, as you see, getting to the rim, certainly the strength to finish at the rim there. That's what I took from Cooper Flagg here, and he's only going to get better. The beauty is that the other 4 players that he was on the roster with, those are probably not going to be the same players when we get going in mid-October. It's going to be Anthony Davis and P.J. Washington and Klay Thompson and Najee Marshall. And no offense to Ryan Nembhard, who's on a 2-way here, but the level of play will certainly get a lot better when we get to mid-October.
I texted with Jason Kidd this morning just to get his thoughts on Cooper Flagg. He's ecstatic, man.
Sure.
He said, you know, he's really mature for an 18-year-old. He plays both ends hard. Offensively, he can score and pass. High IQ defensively. Solid all around. Great young man. Lucky to be his coach. Jason Kidd.
Interesting. Yeah, listen, I mean, J. Kidd was there talking, I believe, Katie George at the game the other day, and really was, you know, very excited to see what Cooper was able to do out there, particularly handling the ball. So, all right, we do have some breaking news out of San Antonio. Victor Wembanyama says he's officially been cleared to return after dealing with a blood clot in his shoulder. Here's what he told reporters at L'Equipe over the weekend. Quote, "I'm officially cleared to return. It just happened. I got the green light from the Spurs medical staff just a few hours ago. Phew, I'm finally able to play a bit of basketball again." All right, everyone has said that he could be the best player in the world at some point. Now, his health is back in order here, and that scares behind him. Is he finally going to be able to reach that designation this season?
I mean, if he gets in the conversation this season, that is a tremendous development for the Spurs. And look, he has shown he's the best defense player in the world right now. Offensively, he's still very much a work in progress, a developing prospect. They've added some pieces around him. They've got a really impressive young core. For Wemby and for the Spurs, he doesn't have to make a leap to the top. They're not going to make a leap to the top this year. You want them to get in the thick of things in the Western Conference, to be competitive, to compete for a playoff spot.
So, Mark, we saw Dylan Harper in that highlight. He looked really good in that game. They've got Dylan Harper. They've got the reigning Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle. De'Aaron Fox is there. They do have some pieces, albeit young.
Being pushed.
Yeah.
Look, his roster is great. There's no wasted roster spots. I expect them to take a leap. He has so much talent around him now that he doesn't have to put the entire franchise on his back. Yes, he is a star of this team, but, like, if Vassal's coming off the bench, Barnes coming off the bench, like, you got 2 rookies that I expect to make an immediate impact on this team. I'm expecting big things from the Spurs.
Yeah, and look, they always do a really good job of development, I would say, as well. When you think about it, like, look at historically, they're one of the teams that has done a fantastic job mining the G League over their history. You know, the Austin Spurs, they always have guys being called up. They got this guy, Jones Garcia, who I saw balling out at Summer League. That's a guy, even though the backcourt is crowded, could be someone you have there. All right, UD, what do you think?
I mean, I love the roster. I love it. And also, let's not forget about bringing Luke Kennett over from Boston and what he was able to do in the playoffs for those guys. So that's another guy who has championship, experience and, has that expectation, knows what it's like to be in a locker room like that. So I love the pieces and everything they put around him. I love what Victor is able to do offensively and, of course, what he's able to do defensively. I would love for him to cut those threes down. I know he shoots around 8 or 9 threes. I'm a little old school. I want him to get in there and dominate a little bit more with his size. But, sky's the limit for Victor Wembanyama. I just think this team needs a couple more mango seasons. You're out there in the West, and everybody is continuously getting better. And, it's a lot of ground for those guys to make up from where they were last year, even though they added those pieces as the West continues to get better.
Well, and I think there's such a great unknown to this roster. I think just because they traded for De'Aaron Fox in February, and we really saw a limited body of work with him and Victor Wembanyama here, and I think there is a newness, and the only way is to get better. When you're in the Western Conference, if you don't improve your roster, and I think San Antonio did that in the draft, certainly with their 2 picks led by Dylan Harper.
At the star-studded event. Let's go from the course to the court. When both Steph and Jimmy were healthy, their squad went an impressive 22-5 to close the regular season, but their run came up short in the Western Conference semis against Minnesota after Steph suffered a hamstring injury in Game 1. And without Curry, the Warriors couldn't quite recover. Their offseason has raised some eyebrows. Golden State is the only team in the NBA that hasn't signed a free agent, hasn't made a trade for a player with NBA experience, and hasn't even re-signed one of their own. GM Mike Dunleavy addressed the uncertainty with our own Katie George at Summer League.
I feel like we have a group going forward that's going to be pretty good, but what do we need to add? I think from that standpoint, we want to look in the front court to add some shooting. We want to add in the back court some defense. I think offensively, guys that can shoot past dribble. So we're always, there's tons of needs. We got some guys we got to figure out, but we got the whole summer to do it.
All right, well, some interesting stuff there from Mike Dunleavy. Bobby, we welcome you back here. What's on the Warriors' to-do list this offseason?
Well, the number one thing, George, is clarity on the future of Jonathan Kuminga here. He is one of the 4 restricted free agents that has not been signed right now. He has an $8 million qualifying offer. That contract is binding, and basically the future of Kuminga is keeping the Warriors in a holding pattern as far as what they can do as far as going out and signing other players right now here. So we're going to certainly keep an eye on Kuminga. The second thing is what Mike Dunleavy Jr. said. There's got to be a patching up the front court here. When you look at the roster right now, they've got Quentin Post, who was on a two-way last year, and they converted. Trace Jackson-Davis. There is a glaring hole at the center position. Draymond Green, of course, played primarily at center a lot last year. And then the third is replacing the glue guys. When you look at Kevon Looney, who is now in New Orleans, Gary Payton II is still unsigned. It's finding those type of players that can kind of do the dirty work. George, they've got 9 players under contract right now. 15 is the max in the NBA. There's certainly work to do in Golden State. The question is going to be, how does the future of Kuminga dictate as far as what are those other parts that are going to be added to this roster?
Great stuff as always, Bobby. Thank you so much. All right, the Warriors over-under win total has been set at 46.5 at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. That's right around the 48 win mark that the Warriors had last season. So let's get back with our panel here. Mark, you're as plugged into the Warriors as anyone. What do you expect here over the next several weeks?
Frustration.
Oh, okay. All right. That's one emotion.
Kuminga's situation is complicated, man.
It's like a Facebook. Remember when Facebook used to have those status updates and it would say it's complicated? It's like that. I'm dating myself, but
no, I agree with you. His agent met with the Warriors last week. Still no answer. They're trying to figure it out. As Bobby mentioned, it's holding everything else up. What they want to do. And then obviously the one that everybody's worrying about is Al Horford. Like, what's going to happen with Al Horford? You know, Golden State obviously expected him to sign last week. He didn't. Lakers, Milwaukee, Atlanta, I believe, are also interested in the nearly 40-year-old guy who also has retirement on the table.
Right.
He's still considering retiring. He's not in any hurry. He's got a 6th kid coming on the way. He lives in Atlanta and Boston in the offseason. But I'm hearing that whether it's Golden State or, lesser extent if it's the Lakers, like being away from his family that far isn't going to be in that decision. But keep in mind, know who I think is going to be in this decision?
Who?
His 10-year-old son, Ian.
Okay.
He just started traveling with Al on the road like 2 seasons ago. Kid loves basketball. I know he's like, Dad, Steph Curry, Dad. Like, it likely.
All the kids love Steph Curry, man. I know that.
I can see Ian convincing his dad to keep playing.
Tim, let me ask you this.
Shout out to Ian.
What is the market for Kuminga and Horford even at this point?
Well, look, until Al Horford either retires or signs somewhere else, the assumption around the league is that he will end up with the Warriors. I would tell Warriors fans, relax on that one. I think things are going to turn out in your favor there. Kuminga is certainly complicated, but there's not much of a market for him. Right. He would love to go somewhere that values him as a star, that sees him as a focal point for their offense, which clearly Steve Kerr doesn't. Steve Kerr was DNP CD in this guy during the playoffs. He has said multiple times he doesn't think he's a fit with Steph and with Jimmy Butler when they have both of those guys healthy, which is, that 22-5 lineup. But the simple fact of the matter is this: if there's not a market for Kuminga, there's not some kind of sign and trade situation in the summer, then it's probably in both parties' best interest to do some sort of maybe like a smaller version of the Jalen Green deal, you know, a 3-year deal with a player option, that sort of thing. The kind of deal that, quite frankly, is designed to try to be traded as soon as he's eligible on December 15th. Now, if that happens, Steve Kerr, you got to play in the first couple months of the season. You got to showcase the guy if the whole point is you're trying to move him at not even the deadline, the first day he's eligible.
Right, for sure. All right, UD, you've been around a ton of superstars at different points in their careers, but including the tail ends of their careers. So how much pressure do you think is on the Warriors front office to improve this roster?
I mean, I don't know if it's on their front office to improve the roster because of what's going on right now with other teams in the West, but I'll just say with their team particularly, the pressure to improve the roster is you saw your weaknesses like glaringly in the playoffs last year. You saw the lack of size glaringly against Minnesota last year. You saw the lack of athleticism glaringly against Minnesota last year. So when you talk about bringing in Al, I love Al. I would love for him to finish his career with a guy like Steph. He's a guy who's definitely going to space the floor and knock down some threes, but he does not address your needs. He does not address the need of athleticism when you talk about bringing in another guy who's older, and he does not address the need of having size. When you look around the West right now, everybody has size. When you talk about what Houston has with Jabari Smith in that length, KD in that length, bringing in Sengun, still having Sengun, and having Adams come back and bringing in Capella. When you look at what Denver's been able to do, when you look at what OKC's been able to do, when you look at Minnesota and still having Randall and all these guys have length and athleticism. You are not addressing length and athleticism by just bringing in Al. Love Al, but that is not the one that's going to push you over the hump.
It'll be interesting to see, but I will say this. I've been around the Warriors enough, particularly last season when the trade deadline was approaching, and they knew that they felt like they needed to do something to extend Steph's window. So I'm fully, I would fully be surprised if they didn't continue to push the envelope in that particular direction. All right, summer's in full swing, so let's check out the top of the top, brought to you by Nintendo Switch 2. The weekend's best here. First, top poster is Indiana's Johnny Furphy drives and dunks on the Thunder here.
Hey,
Furphy's just a fun name to say, too.
Yeah.
The Pacers are really high on this kid.
Bumpy.
Oh,
Elijah Martin throwing it down.
Okay, I was not familiar with your game.
or that spelling.
And then Young Hanson.
Ooh.
That's your boy Tim, right?
Yeah. Listen, they saying he's a Chinese Joker. I never seen Joker do that.
How about Drew Tibbs?
Hey, Pierce High School, baby.
On Alex Sarr.
Wow. On Czar, too.
For the N1.
Yeah.
All right, next top playmaking. Trey Johnson. The self-assist off Malawach's leg for the layup.
I was watching that play, and I'm like, oh.
I like the creativity. That's a Texas education right there.
Really?
He was balling out this week, Trey
At least
Johnson.
one semester.
Yuki Kawamura throws the assist between the Kings defenders' legs. A little nutmeg action.
Listen, man, he can pass. He's only about 5'2.5", but he can pass the ball.
And then the American Century Championship. How about our boy Chuck? Chuck, where are you at? Look at this. The Eagle. The Eagle has landed, Chuck.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Oh, man, come on.
George got the most excited for a golf highlight. Come
That's
on.
my guy, Chuck, man. That guy has been working on his game. Like this man right here, GG Jackson, working on his.
GG for good gosh right there.
All right, Midas Bazelis.
Hey, man, watch this kid.
Windmill.
This season.
Okay.
He's going to take off. I've been watching him since the Ignite.
He looks older already.
He's talented.
Yeah,
He's
he can almost
he's
go full
maturing.
mustache.
Yep, 17-year-old Alicia
Hey,
Thornby.
ooh, that was not
Okay,
a
America, we got to step up our game, ladies.
Hey, that is throwing it down.
That's in Eurobasket.
Yeah, she just like nonchalantly
Okay.
dunked it with two.
Oh, that's a dunk.
Not one hand, two.
Yeah.
She should have reversed it.
After the break, our experts are standing by to explain everything we learned in the first ever professional matchup between Caitlin Clark and Paige